The Buschy and Bobo Show, a healthy scratch podcast. Here's your hosts, Kyle Busch and Brian Rager.
All right. Hey, everybody that's listening. The Healthy Scratch is back. After a 5-year hiatus, I think it was 2016. I actually figured out because I looked at the old Facebook. Yeah. Where you put, hey, the site might be down.
Site might be going down.
So we're back. And Buschy and Bobo.
Yeah, new take on Healthy Scratch.
Yeah, as you can see, pretty nice logo. Got a big package.
That's half the battle right there.
Half the battle. We're not compensating. We might be compensating for something, but
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, like our buddy Josh Letourneau actually kind of not pushed us, or he gave us the idea of like, hey, you should get your site going again. And it was something I know that you enjoyed. I enjoyed doing it before. This is actually round 3. Like this is like third time's a charm. Because
for this one too, though, you just messaged me randomly saying, hey, do you want to do it?
Yeah. Now that like there's some other stuff going on, that's Josh's thing, and I'll let him kind of do his own thing. But I don't know, it got me thinking, and I was like, it was a lot of fun. It was cool to do it with you. And I know when we had Healthy Scratch kind of the first time, like 5-6 years ago, it kind of like, we just kind of fizzled out. Like if it was one of those things where like, if you weren't doing it, I didn't want to do it myself. And I think it was probably the same way. I think it's more fun when it's both of us.
Yeah, that was the thing. It seemed like, especially you think about 5-6 years ago, whenever we did it and we stopped, we were at the end of that like school career, starting into like actual work, right? So
there's more things to do. Yeah, that's not a priority.
Yeah, it wasn't a priority. We didn't want it to be like a job. So
yeah, and that's the thing is like I was thinking about it, and the one thing I said to Josh, and he's the one that's actually built our website. He was trying to show me how to do some of the stuff, and I don't know. Like I keep texting him, and like so, I will say like thank you, Josh, for actually making our website. All the rest of the stuff is on us to make like the content, which like this is the fun part. And we went into it, and I said to you, like, we don't really expect anybody to be watching this, listening to it, reading anything. And that's okay, because eventually people do. Yeah. And I mean, it's a hobby. Like that's why, and we can go back to when we first started doing this. And I know it was something that I searched out was I like writing, and I still kind of do a little bit now. I don't post anything, but there's things that I always like to do, especially like, being in school and doing like essays and stuff. I didn't really mind doing that. I was like, it was okay for me, but I loved hockey. I liked writing. I loved reading. I remember every morning it would be like, I'm getting the newspaper, I'm reading, I'm going to see the box scores, I'm going to read what they're writing. This is back before internet was a huge thing. Even this is back when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, where I was like, oh, it's kind of neat. Yeah, like reporting and writing stuff and like opinion pieces. Because when you're a young 17 or 18-year-old little shit, you have all these opinions about this guy sucks, this team's good, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I remember it was just I don't really understand or remember how I found the checking line. That was the site. It's not a site anymore, but I remember somehow contacting them and being like, hey, is this a thing where you have to have experience, or is it just something I can just dick around with? And they're like, no, like, send us a few sample articles or whatever. And, basically to see if you can actually spell. And that was it. So that was my prerequisites of like getting into journalism, which I don't even count it as that.
Journalism, right? Quote unquote.
Yeah. And then I remember I think I told you about it and said, I'm doing this thing on this website, and like they have so many writers. I bet you could get involved too.
My first thing into it was I had some project I had to do with school, and it was the top 10. My personal top 10 obvious jerseys of all time.
Right.
And you said, hey, do you want to post it as like a guest piece on the thing, because you're
right
for it? So I said, yeah, sure. Here, take my.
Because I think I technically posted it, but said your name.
Yours. You said, hey, this is from guest. This is before I even started.
Do you remember? I the guy that ran the site, I think his name was George.
George, yeah, that's all I
he
remember.
messaged me, and I remember once I started doing the sub site for the Red Wings, he told me how to look at the graphs, the numbers, the views, and all that stuff. And like for all this stuff, I don't really care. But do you remember that website got linked to ESPN?
Yeah.
And the views on it were just like, so your thing was the most viewed article on that site at the time. I don't know if there was anything after that, but like it blew it out of the water. It was like you'd see the views like this, and then it was like yours was like off the charts. It was like, oh my God, just because someone picked it up.
It felt like when you told me that and said the views are going up, I'm just like, damn, like.
And it's so funny because it's
cool.
such a simple thing, like, and it's been done so many times. Ugliest jerseys. It's like,
people, jersey ranking. You go on YouTube, you go whatever, any new series, people are going to rank jerseys.
Right. So like with that, I mean, because like I'm a big Red Wings fan, you're a big Canucks fan. Obviously, I'm going to write about the Red Wings because I was passionate about it. And back then it was around 2011, 2012. So it was after the Wings had won the Cup in 08. They made it in 09 to the finals and lost. We're not going to talk about it. And it was in their like weird period where they were like trying to keep it going. So
they didn't want to rebuild, but
no, they were signing guys that I was like, what are you, they brought back like Samuelson, Jordan Tutu, like Gustafson, and, Madonna, and they kept bringing back Dan Cleary forever. And I remember having so many opinions of like, what are we doing? So
your boy Jonathan Erickson.
I'm so glad
he's hanging up.
That was my guy. I did not like him, but anyway, I remember they said, hey, we're going to try to make sub sites because they just had a main page and they're like, hey, we're going to do a site for each team. Do you want to run the Red Wings one? Sure. I mean, it doesn't change anything. I'm still going to write the same stuff. But eventually what happened is I ended up like, I would say like quote unquote hiring, I think it was 4 different writers. I still have some of them on Facebook as like Facebook friends that I haven't talked to for a long time, but it was kind of cool because they were really good at what they were doing, which is exactly what I was doing. It was just a hobby for them.
Yeah.
No one was getting paid. But it was one thing where I had to start almost managing and making a schedule because we had somebody that would do the pregame write-up. We'd have somebody watch the game and live tweet it, and then someone doing the post-game recap. And then we'd have like, okay, we want 3 or 4 opinion pieces or some different type of content each day. So there was something every day.
Yeah.
And I remember that got to a point where it felt more like work to me.
Then you're still in school at the time.
Yeah. And that's where the balance of not even considering that stuff, because it did take a lot of time where you'd get home and go, oh geez, I'm supposed to watch the Wings play the fucking Panthers. Like, I don't care. I don't want to watch that, but I had to because it was my night to watch the game, even though maybe I had schoolwork or whatever. And then, working nights or something like that. Like, well, I can't do it then. Right. So, it just felt more like work. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting paid for this. And it started to not feel like a hobby. So that's what I stressed with you doing this again.
Yeah. And I was the same thing when they ran the Westerns, because once I did that article with you,
because they grouped together, they grouped together to Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver as one sub-site.
Because I started writing then, and then started doing a sub-site there for West instead of just doing Vancouver and whatnot. And that's when I was brought on as a co-lead on that, and it was a second job, and I would either just to pump out content there and opinions and all that. So it's either I was going to school early and I'm just going on my laptop there. So I don't have class till 9 a.m., but I'm at school at 7 a.m. trying to get something up.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not a hobby at that point.
No, especially because Vancouver too, they're starting games at 10 o'clock, ending in midnight.
Exactly. That's even I didn't even think about that. That's even worse because
that was the worst for me. That was the worst.
And I mean, I remember that was the Wings were in the West. So they did play Vancouver and Calgary and San Jose and Anaheim, all these teams, and like you have the late games. Now it's a little more manageable because they're playing every game at 7. And I know with the whole like pandemic thing, they're all in the same time zone. But even when now they are in the East, they're only going out there one time. So
not
it's
bad.
like 6 or 7 games of the season. They're out there, big deal, right? But there were some really cool things that we got to do with the checking line. One that I got to do personally, and all my buddies know this, was the Easton Stealth RS review,
Yes.
which is somewhere on YouTube still. I mean, I could probably link it. So it's just funny, you look back about when you're like 19 or 20 years old,
You're
and how
there wearing your Steve
cringy.
Stamkos jersey, standing there like that.
I was doing like tricks with it. I wasn't even reviewing the damn stick. It was at Forest Glade Arena. So here's the thing. So George actually came to me and goes, "Hey, I know you play hockey. You know, I got an Easton rep asking about doing product reviews. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Sure. Like, what type of product?
Why
You
not?
know?" And he's like, "Oh, I think like sticks." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." He goes, so he hooks me up with this guy, and he's like, the guy goes, "Okay, let me know what flex you want, what kind of curve you want, all this stuff, right?" And at the time, that Stealth RS was like the newest, like the big the big stick you had to have, right?
Yeah.
For like 2 seconds until the other one came out. So I actually got to customize it, and you know, got the curve and the flex that I wanted, and they sent it right to my house, $300 stick for nothing. Like, here you go, right? And yeah, my review consisted of me doing like like stick tricks in the air, like flipping a puck around, has nothing to do with like how the stick performs. How I was just like, look at what I can do. So
Look at
and then
look at I got.
it was Forest Glade Arena, and I was just like warm-ups before we did like pickup hockey with like one of my dad's work friends, like older dudes.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, it was a good stick. Like, it's not going to be shit. It's a $300 stick. They're all going to be pretty good. If you buy a $20 one, it's going to be terrible. Like, it's not hard to review that. It was cool to like have that opportunity though, because at the time, again, you're saying being a student, I'd have $300 laying around. Like, that was the best stick I ever had up until like to that point.
Yeah.
Except for, and I don't know if you know this, when I was probably, oh, I forget how old I was. I might have been even like 13 or 14. I was helping a guy named Glenn Gervais, who actually is one of Zinger's buddies too, coach a Tykes house league team called the Killer Bees. They're yellow, and
Of course.
he had a hookup with Innovative, which I forget what company they're in. I think it might be Warrior now, or they changed. Innovative hockey sticks. And he hooked me up one time where the Leafs were playing the Red Wings, and this was around 03-04, so this actually does make sense. Alex McGillney was on the Leafs, and Glenn got me one of his sticks. So up until that point, that was the best stick I had. It was a pro stick. It was an Alex McGillney stick, and I'm telling you, that curve. Okay, I'll go like this. It was straight hook, like the biggest toe curve I've ever seen. I fucking loved that stick. Like, it was so cool. It was awesome. So anyway, I digress. But
I remember too with the Easton thing too, because I remember you did the review on the stick, and then
loosely reviewed.
Yeah.
Thanks for the free swag, idiots.
Yeah. There was also you were telling me there's talks about having skates sent to you.
Yeah, skates. Because I did have an interview with a guy where I had a phone call, and I was talking to an Easton rep about their new skates, and I forget what they were.
I think they're like Makos, Easton Makos.
You're right.
I don't know. So again,
did they even get made? I don't even know if those are a thing.
I'm gonna search it up right now.
Yeah, but I do remember that now that you bring it up. I did do a quick thing where that was more of just like that wasn't a review. That was more of them just kind of saying, here, this prototype skate is going to come out. Here's why it's good. All this stuff. So it was just me. Huh?
I just searched in Easton Mako skates, and like I see it up for sale on Sport Check.
Okay, I didn't even know, honestly. I'm not a big skate guy, to be honest with you. More of a Bauer guy.
Hint, wake.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. And then another cool thing that we both got to do that I never thought we'd be able to do is we covered the U17 World Championships that was hosted by Windsor at WFCU Center, and then also Tecumseh and LaSalle, which was interesting. If you think about And I don't know if you remember the two teams on the checking line that had sub-sites that had actual, I would say like press,
I think
like
Philly
guys
was
that have
right.
Philly and the Islanders.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
Islanders was the other one.
there's still a guy that I have on Facebook that he's not doing anything with the Flyers, but he's with like is an actual reporter for like a Philadelphia high school like football
Okay.
sports. So pretty cool. But yeah, there was the Flyers and the Islanders guys actually had press passes to go to the games, which is awesome.
Yeah, I do remember. I do remember that. And,
Yeah.
It's something that when we took that on as a hobby, like when I got into it, at least as the hobby there for checking line, and
That was the coolest thing we got to do by far.
the fact that we got like to go to an IIHF event
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah. I know I have that press pass somewhere, but that's when I had my like really long hair and I looked like an idiot.
I
But
remember when we took those pictures too for cause we had
Tecumseh Arena hallway.
I was hungover as shit.
Really? I just remember
yeah.
my hair was wet and it was
Yeah.
cold out and
Yeah,
it
it's
just
all
looked like I had a
slicked
shower.
back and-
Yeah, it was something.
But that event was so like, I'm like, yeah, there's no way we're like, let's submit it anyways and hope for the
Yeah.
best.
And they did
got it.
because yeah, we just submitted two.
George had to do a reference for us, but
Right.
we were good on that.
Which obviously he would because that's his site. Of course, like that's a no brainer. Like yeah, go ahead and do it. And that was something where we got like a crash course in like journalism. Really, not to say that we're journalists. I know people go to school forever for that stuff, but we got a taste of like just how fun it was because we had the press pass. We got to go in the press box. We were up top. You know, we went to all the games we could at WFCU. If there was not one, we'd go to Tecumseh. I don't think we went to one at LaSalle.
I was going to go to one at LaSalle, but I ended up going to a Germany game at Tecumseh. That's where I interviewed what's his face, like
Draisaitl, yeah. And we're gonna go through the list of players, which is kind of interesting. But what I was gonna say is, all you can eat Snickers. Remember that?
At Tecumseh,
yeah. Tecumseh Arena, you get all the Snickers you could have.
WFC. I remember our first game.
They had pasta.
We went there. We had chicken, pasta.
Yeah, in the press room.
I remember because I worked at the WFCU Center.
You did.
As regular event staff. So I'm down there in the press thing, and Jim Parker, Windsor Star.
Yeah. He's always wearing a trench coat.
Yeah, I was always good with him because I worked up in the suites in the press box during events like Spitfire games and whatnot. He walks in, he's like, "What?" He's like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey, Brian, what's going on?" I'm like, "Not much, just here covering games." He's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
So I show him the pass. He's like, "Hey, no, that's awesome for you. Let me know if you need anything." And it was you said it's not really necessarily like crash course in journalism, but it was something that it opened our eyes to like see some of these people work. That's only local, but
right.
You had guys from TSN there, and all these other networks.
And in a way, it kind of was. If you think about the whole process of doing it, we weren't writing opinion pieces. You could and say, "Oh, I really liked JT Compher on USA. Like he played really well today." Blah 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 blah. But we went there. You would go into that press room. They'd give you the rosters for that day, the line combinations. You'd go up. You'd have your laptop open. You could live tweet it or whatever. But at the same time, you were taking game notes. Who scored? Who got the assist? Which you could get that information after, if you wanted to take video of the game or whatever. You know, we just had like an Android phone. Like we didn't have any like professional equipment. But when you go down and you get to interview players, you can't just go down there and be like, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" Like you have to have an actual question about the game because those kids were 17 years old, 16, 17. They're gonna, a lot of them went to the show, and we'll get to that. But
our first run was very intimidating for me.
For me, I don't know, maybe a little bit, but I think it was just you're talking to someone at that point in my I wasn't too intimidated by players because they're just people.
No, it wasn't the players. It was the other reporters that were there. It's because you have these guys who've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And they know the questions. They have they're asking. And meanwhile, we're standing there with an Android or a cheap ass iPhone.
Right.
So what's next?
How did you play today? Well, if you do remember, and I think after that first game or two, we tried to figure out how do we would grab players that maybe the other guys didn't want to talk to. And I remember we would wait because they would come down, the staff would come down and go, "Okay, who do you guys want to talk to on whatever team?" And you tell them and they'd go get them.
Yeah.
And I remember waiting and going, who's Bob Duff going to talk to? Who's Jim Parker going to talk to? Or whoever else there were. And I'd go on the list and go, okay, there was 4 guys that I kind of wanted. 2 of them are going over there. Let's grab this guy and this guy.
Yeah.
So that it was just us. So I remember doing that a few times, or going, oh, we're seeing this guy next game. Let's chat with him next game. Right. Because one that we did do, which most of the time, every single one, we just had an audio recording. This one, we have a video that I'll pull up. It's on Brian's old YouTube channel if you want to check it out, Rager 89. Shout out to Fishy Crackers. If you look at it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I actually think I do want to post this on our site eventually. Yeah, but the interview we have here, and I'll pull it up just for 2 seconds. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it really well, but
the player is.
Scored on 5 of them. Do you think if you took away those penalties, because in a 3-2 game would have been a different outcome? Yeah. I think so. Well, Nathan McKinnon action here. At the same time, we're disciplines who wanted. You actually want to answer it, right? So I know you can only you can hear guys in the background. It's hard to hear, but we'll post that up. That was a 16-year-old Nathan McKinnon after a 10-1 loss to Team Ontario, and I remember his team was actually Team Atlantic, and we'll go through those teams, but they got smoked. And I mean, Team Ontario was really good, and they were supposed to win it. They lost to Russia, but they had so many penalties that game. That it was on the penalty kill the whole time. What's that?
Ontario.
I thought Russia played Ontario in the final.
Played the U.S.
Oh, then it was the semis that they lost in overtime.
Yeah.
That's the game
Ontario
I'm thinking of.
won the bronze medal. I have it up.
That was the only game because I went with Shannon. We went and we sat in the seats. That was the only time that I wasn't in the press box.
You paid?
No. I mean, I still have to pass, but
yeah.
And I think Shannon had a free thing to go, whatever.
Oh,
but so we interviewed. All right, we interviewed McKinnon, which is really cool because now he's one of the best players in the NHL.
Do you remember too when that McKinnon interview? Because first it's all right. I think they already sort of interviewed him. They had a big scrum with him. Mm-hmm. We were interviewing someone else at the time, and then we're like, "Oh, okay, can we get McKinnon's up?" Yeah, he already did it, but I'll see. So he came back out and did a one-on-one interview with us.
Yeah, that's just what you're supposed to do. He was tabbed as a number 1 pick then already. So
honestly, that's the only reason I got a McKinnon Colorado.
I kind of figured.
Actually, also because that's when Reebok was switching out some theaters, and it was on 2 for 1. So
you brought up TSN was there too. Obviously, the U17s. It wasn't their main staff though. But one guy that was there, and it was Darren Dutchy.
Big Dutchy.
So I got to interview him at Tecumseh Arena, and it was a game that I don't think you were at that whatever game it was. I know it was, if I'm looking at my list, I forget what team. It might have been Pacific or something like that, or West.
West was the one.
His nephew was playing, and for the life of me, I forget who it was. His nephew was on one of the teams, and he was leaving Tecumseh Arena, and this guy is a truck. He's built. And I remember leaving, and that was the one time I was intimidated, but I was like, "Hey, Dutchy," and he turns around, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I write for a blog site. Could I interview you real quick? I know you're leaving," but he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." Nicest dude ever. And I was just asking him about, and we asked a lot of the players about it too. What do you think about the tournament? About the job that Windsor's doing, and it's a smaller town, blah, blah, blah. And he was really cool. And I was asking him any players he liked. He liked the McCoy Camps, which he's in the AHL now, but and I think he liked Madison Bowie too. Technically NHLer. He's with the Blackhawks, but that was really cool to interview him. I don't have any of that old audio of that because my old phone is gone and checking line isn't a site anymore. So, but those were 2 things we got to do. I want to go through the list of players in this tournament. Now we didn't interview a lot of these guys. Most of them on Ontario we did a few on Quebec. But there were some guys in there that we were going through just before going, "Oh my God, I didn't know this freaking guy was here." There's some studs in here that weren't studs back then, where
which
they weren't known.
You look now and it's like, oh
Yeah, like
Well,
there's a few here. So like I'll go through it. Team Ontario, Aaron Ekblad, okay, Bell River
local
kid,
guy
local
too.
guy,
So
went first overall. Darnell Nurse, Edmonton Oilers. Max Domi, Bo Horvat, captain of the Canucks. There's your boy.
I had a nice interview with him. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had WFCU there.
Yeah, and then Nick Ritchie. I know he was with the Ducks for a while. I actually don't know. Is he with Boston or I forget what team he's with? If you want to look that up.
Absolutely.
Quebec had 3. They had Jonathan Drouin, Anthony Duclair, Freddie Gauthier, who was with the Leafs last that I remember. Germany had 2. Now everyone was talking about this German kid who was like 6'3" and he's incredible and like Team Germany.
One of the nicest guys too for interviewing.
Very nice. Leon Draisaitl, who's like again one of the best players in the league with the Oilers now. Spoke really pretty good English for for a German dude. And then the other guy
on the Bruins, by the way.
Yeah, so I thought he was with the Bruins. Yeah. He seems like a Bruins guy, right? And then it was Dominic Cahoon, and he's with the Oilers as well. I didn't realize he was with the team. So that's a guy, that I didn't realize. Oh, he was in the tournament. Looking back now that these guys have kind of made it, you can look back and go.
Yeah, when we said we wanted to do this, and one of the things we want to talk about was, hey, let's go see back. Like, let's go back to check this out. So it's nice. It's a nice trip down memory lane here. So
exactly. So Sweden had Robert Hägg, Philadelphia Flyers, Andre Burakovsky, and he's with I think the Avalanche now, and then Jacob De La Rose, who I think St. Louis, but that was actually funny enough. He was a pretty good player in that tournament. He was more of a hyped guy too. That was the De La Rose got traded for Robbie Fabry. The most rip-off trade that Yzerman's ever done so far. So I'll take it. Team Atlantic. So we said McKinnon, obviously number 1 pick. The only other guy on the team that is in the NHL now, a lot of Avalanche players, Ryan Graves. Didn't stand out. I don't remember him being there, but hey, the guy's actually a pretty good NHLer. So, that was one we didn't realize. 2 guys on the Czechs. Again, no one on the Czech Republic team was really hyped, but David Pastrnak was on Team Czechs. Didn't stand out. I mean, I don't know if you have the stats pulled up for it in the tournament, what he did.
Can do that. I can definitely do that for you.
Yeah, and Jacob Vrana, who's on the Capitals, which honestly has one of the funniest pictures after the Capitals won the Cup. I'm gonna pull this up. They got so drunk. Obviously, you remember like Ovechkin was and Oshie like swimming in that fountain.
Yeah,
remember that? And so Jacob Vrana, I'm gonna pull this up.
Jacob or Jakob?
Jakob. It's with a K.
Yeah.
So here's what he posts. This kid is so fucking hammered in this picture that he's holding up. He has a tattoo on his arm, like down by his wrist.
Yeah,
okay.
You can sort of see it down there.
He is so drunk. He's wearing a t-shirt and he's pulling up the t-shirt sleeve to show his tattoo, even though it's on his wrist. Oh my God. I've never laughed. He looks like a 14-year-old kid there, but yeah, he was on the Czechs too. How did Pastrnak do?
I'm pulling it up right now. It's been a little slow here. There's 11, 12. Show me international.
Because I don't know if he did a whole lot.
Okay, U17s. 5 games, 1 assist.
He had 1 assist.
Yep.
And this guy is a 40 to 50 goal scorer in the NHL.
Yep.
It's nuts. Games, you look at it, I guarantee you he obviously wasn't being talked about.
No.
So the kid was 16 years old, right? So that's the thing about when you look at some of these guys when they're that young and you go, wow, this guy's going to be a stud. Like Max Domi was very, very hyped.
Yeah.
He's an NHLer, no doubt. But like they were talking about him as like he's going to be a superstar. He's a good NHLer.
Great, yeah. He's a good NHLer, but is he?
So there's a few other teams too, though. So Russia had Nikita Zadorov, Pavel Buchnevich, and then Valery Nichushkin. So 3 NHL guys.
The one guy from Russia, obviously, that when we saw play, I thought he was going to be a stud in the NHL.
Yeah, the goalie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sarah Bryakov.
Nikita Serebryakov, yeah.
I mean, I don't even. Where is he right now? Can you click on him and see where he is?
Yeah, I'll bring that up here. But I think he was goalie of the tournament too.
Yeah.
first team.
He was very, very good, and like won the tournament for them, in my opinion, because they didn't really. Again, they didn't have a lot of studs on their team. I mean,
he's playing in the KHL for Torpedo, Nizhny Novgorod.
nailed it. Yeah.
Exactly. But
USA has one of your Canucks, Thatcher Demko, was a goalie.
Yep.
Will Butcher, I want to say Devils. Yeah, I think he's on the Devils.
I think so.
Another guy, super hyped in that tournament. Very good NHLer though, JT Compher. Colorado, so many Avalanche players in this. Another, I think, Canuck, Tyler Mott.
Is he still with us? I think so.
Yeah, and he played for
Butcher
Michigan
is with the
actually.
Devils,
yeah, and then he played for Michigan actually, so I saw him too. And then Kevin LeBlanc, he's with the Sharks. Team Pacific had both goalies. Well, one is a journeyman, like Eric Comrie. The reason that at the time we were like, oh, Eric Comrie, because he's Mike Comrie's brother, right? Tristan Jerry was their other goalie, so starting for the Penguins now. There. Curtis Lazar was very, very hyped as well.
Yes.
He was a captain for Canada in the World Juniors, right?
World Juniors, yeah.
And then the last guy, again, was very hyped as well, Sam Reinhart. So, Sabres. Sabres. There's so many Reinhardts that I just forget. Yeah, is he with the Flames? I don't know. One of them. And then the last guy was Madison Bowie, where he said he was on Team West. Team West didn't really have anybody on their team, but cool list of players. We interviewed some of those guys. But just kind of interesting to see like how all those guys turn out, 10 years later. But yeah, that was kind of a cool thing we got to do with the checking line.
Later now, eh?
I know. Yeah, it's crazy to think that. And then the last thing that we got to do, which I don't know if it was really, we called it the checking line radio, but we got to do what was called internet radio at the time. And I think it was more podcasts before podcasts.
That's what we said right before, like, you said, podcast before podcast, which was, it was the checking line name, but
and I don't know how. That's just what we named it, and I think we still posted some stuff on the site about it. But I think you found it. It was like freelance radio work.
I know exactly how I found it,
and I know the guy. You remember the guy's name? Big JD Open.
Okay, yeah. So the way I found it was, I'm looking for some sort of part-time work in school or whatnot. Yeah. And so I'm actually browsing. I think it was on like Kijiji jobs at the time. So it's similar to Craigslist or whatnot. So Kijiji, looking at jobs and see something in entertainment there. And it's like, oh, radio, no experience needed.
Like, beautiful.
Perfect. I think I just sent you a picture to it or sent you the link to it. And
I was like, let's do it.
Screw it, let's do it and let's have some fun with it. And so we go for this interview. I think I'm wearing like a golf shirt and like, I forgot when we interviewed. But
you were looking good.
Yeah, we're looking good. We go to this. So this place was set up at a local bar. It was called the Local Dive or whatever.
It's been called 17 different things. It was Tecumseh Joe's, Hoagie's, the Local Dive.
What is it now?
Clubhouse. Yeah. So there's like 90. Anyway, yeah.
So we go there and we're like expecting to meet some guy like dressed up nice. Nope, here comes Big JD with his mohawk and
yeah, like what are we getting into
like
here?
Jeans, t-shirt, like leather vest or whatnot, and nice guy. He's like, just ask us what we want to do. We're like, oh well, we've done some hockey stuff before, and just hockey sports.
Which is funny. He showed us kind of what we could do, and I remember we'd be talking about hockey, and then he'd say I forget however many minutes we'd have to do like commercials, right?
Yeah, like
and that's how he was making his money. Yeah, but we'd go from talking about hockey to clicking a commercial on his screen that would be like a Tupperware commercial, and it's like,
actually, I think I have a picture here on my Instagram from one of our first shows.
Do you really? Oh my God!
So
but,
I'm
yeah, look that up. But I know that was something kind of neat because we just talked about. I mean, we did it a little more structured, like with what we're doing here with this podcast. Like, we're just chatting. With that one, we were very like, we're gonna review the scores. We're gonna talk about who did really well yesterday, and like do all this stuff.
Especially at the beginning too. It was very structured, and then we sort of just had more.
we were asking him, hey, can you add these we had like NHL 99 like menu music songs while we were talking about like the games the night before, and like we did some opinion type stuff. The best show that we did, we had Kurt Lucas on.
Yep.
And it was the three of us bouncing things back and forth. And I think the way that it worked really well is because we disagreed about a lot of stuff. Yep. That whole thing, all three of us. And
different takes on things. And here was
Are you kidding me?
So
oh my god.
It's very blurry, but yeah, it's sort of the setup there, one of the monitors.
Okay, yeah.
At the bottom there, the little paper there, that was, here's your intro to commercial. Here's how you sort of transition into commercial. And
yeah.
It was,
and then it went to like an art show after ours, and we just did it like an hour, couple times a week.
An hour, 3 times a week.
Yeah, and there's times where like if I couldn't make it, you do it solo, and vice versa. And I remember times where it'd be like I just had to go to school or something, and I would text in. I'd be listening to it online. You'd have to like log in on your computer to listen to this. So it was like an audio stream, which was like a live stream podcast.
It's a live stream and he had it recorded. So there's a big snowstorm where we couldn't get in. He would just play an old episode.
Exactly, yeah. And so we did that for maybe a summer. And then it just
we did a couple of then we got the emails and hey guys,
we're done. Yeah, so obviously didn't make any money at it, but that was kind of neat. Cool. So that was probably the end, because that's where it became more of a job. I mean, with the website, like making articles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember we stopped for a while, and then I remember we got really excited about trade deadline in like 2016.
I don't know why. I think it's just because we were both off and we were
bored or something, and we asked Josh because I knew he knew how to make sites, and I was like, can you make us a website? And we came up with the name Healthy Scratch. So like for people that don't know what Healthy Scratch means,
it's exactly my career.
it's in hockey terms, it's like you have your game sheet with your roster on it, and if someone's not playing, you put a line through their name. So it means you're a scratch. They call it a scratch. You're not playing. So you could be suspended or hurt. Yeah. No, a healthy scratch literally means you're healthy enough to play. You're not in.
You just
which usually means you're not that good, or you're like, you're not playing. So obviously healthy scratch. Now, like, cool thing about the logo, and I mean, I got turned the right way, but got the little slash mark here. So kind of, I don't know, I thought it was kind of neat, but so we started that back, and we did it for a while. Kind of fizzled out, where it was one of those things where you have to want to do it. You want to have fun with it. And if it's something that you're not going to, then don't do it.
We did it at a weird time too, because we did it at trade deadline. So near the end,
we're kind of doing the same thing right now, though,
yeah, true.
Which is okay. But yeah, just that time, I don't know. It just didn't feel the same that it did before, I think.
But yeah, you didn't have that chutzpah.
Yeah, so trying to get that feeling is like what we're trying to do now. We didn't do a podcast back then. We just wrote articles.
Yeah.
Doing this is a little more, we're hanging out. We're talking about things.
We're chilling. We're just talking hockey.
So it cut to like, I don't know.
We got professional photos for that too.
We did. Well, we did.
Professional as in Walmart.
Professional from Walmart. Yeah. It looked good. I'll give Josh credit. That site looked really good. And I kind of felt bad that we didn't really do more with it, because he put all the effort into making the thing.
The one thing on that site too was it wasn't like, as now when you mentioned it to me, you said it's not like last time. Like, we're just creating content, whereas last time it was okay. We have to go in and actually edit things and build.
So this is a little better.
I'm having the fun with this time.
Yeah, and yeah. So if we cut to now, we talked about all the stuff we've done with, I don't even say the industry, because we really haven't done shit. Like, we've had some fun. We've got some opportunities, which is really neat, that I never thought we would be able to do.
Yeah. We got some stories.
And I think doing this is something where, like, it's something where we can do it and capture that same feeling of like that genuine, like, I love doing this, because it's fun. It's fun for us. It's a hobby. And like we said before, we don't care if nobody watches this. That's fine with
the only
us, right?
two
Like,
views or looks are
yeah,
nuts or whatnot.
I'll listen to it on the way to work on Monday. Like, I
Maybe
don't,
grandma, but
yeah. And so I know Josh, he has some ideas with what he wants to do. He asked us if we would consider getting Healthy Scratch going again, and to make content. And it got me thinking, yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it's been a long time since we've done it. And if we did it the right way this time and took our time and did it to where it worked for me, it worked for you. Yeah, this could work, and not be so worried about making it. I guess like just kind of going with the flow and having fun. And that was just kind of doing it like that, right?
The nice thing too, like I said, is you want to do it right. If we're gonna do it, we want to do it right. So
right,
we're not just rushing into it. We've been taking our time on doing this. So
yeah. And so it was something where I went, yeah, let's do it. And you were totally in for it. And here we are. So what we're kind of planning on doing is, we're going to do this. We're going to do a podcast. We're going to write some articles, a lot of opinion. I don't think we're going to be like being Darren Dreger at all. Yeah, none of that. I mean, if I watch a Wings game and they suck and I want to write about how Blashill's a dummy.
Look at that cameo.
Yeah, a little cameo here. He's been sitting here licking my hand for like 10 minutes.
Oh, so your hand's probably just all...
Oh, it's just slobber all over the place. He's like, what are you doing? What I wanted to say is, we're going to do some opinion articles. We're going to do the podcast. We have some other content that we're going to eventually work on. That's different.
Yeah, some things in the hopper there.
Sure.
We want to do this. We want to do it right. We're not trying to script anything, especially in this.
But we used to. We used to try to do that. We used to try to make it like a specific thing, and if it wasn't perfect,
we got all frustrated. Like I don't know. I got like this. Like we have some ideas of what we want to talk about, like a rough sheet idea of what. Like,
you put it in pencil, and then whatever happens, right?
Exactly. Go with the flow.
Yeah. Now, in another thing too is like, I know I definitely want to like. We're gonna talk about this logo. Okay. I do want to say, just for me and you, I'm definitely getting this logo on a bucket. I want a golf shirt.
Oh yeah.
So if any of our buddies think this is a fucking sweet logo and want, something, we'll make you one. We'll make you one. I don't care.
Cat, the script,
we'll have some swag, right?
We got some stuff.
So I think the last thing we can really talk about here is our logo debacle. Okay. So
yes.
The first thing that we really wanted to do, and we talked about, was let's get like a really good logo made, because the logo that we had with the old. Oh, do you have it? The old logo that we just made on like Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. Well, it's on the Facebook, right?
It's technically still a part of our website. Josh used it as a template, like as a placeholder. It's just like it says Healthy Scratch with a line through it.
Well, we have this one out. Like it was like the TSN knockoff.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that one. Yeah, but then we had the and we just made that on Paint, right?
Are you talking about this logo?
Oh God, yeah. It's so bad. So I went, no, let's okay, for doing that ourselves, we did a good job. We did a good job.
2 minutes or whatever, but
yeah, it's free. So I go, I want to make a legitimate website logo. How do I do that?
Yes.
So Josh goes, hey, I've used this website called Fiverr before. Go on there. You can hire thousands upon thousands of artists and all you got to do is you look at their rank, you look at their rating, their reviews, and some of their work. And you find one that you like their style, and you hire them for whatever price. And some are like $30, whatever, right? Which is nothing. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go on there, and I find one, 4.9 out of 5, pretty good. And so I hire this girl, right?
And before you hired her, you looked at her like templates that she's done, and they look all wrong. They look good.
Yeah, and I mean I can show you that too. So yeah, we look at the, what she had, and I mean I can show it here as what her work was, right? So we pull that up. that stuff looks pretty decent, right? I'm
Yeah,
going,
this is
okay,
bad.
that's good quality. So what I say is, okay, I gave her a description of what I wanted. Now, with an artist, I honestly thought if you're a good artist, you're going to be able to come with some concepts that we can't either think of or do, because that's your thing. You're creative, right? If you're an artist.
Yeah.
I have ideas, but I might not be able to, make this. I can't. I literally,
Transition
I
it
physically
from
can't freaking
thought
do
or
that.
paper to logo.
Right. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, here's what we want. We want Healthy Scratch in there. We want some type of mascot, some clawed animal. I don't care. It's a hockey website. If you can incorporate hockey, great. If not, no big deal. If you can put some slash marks through the look, I basically wanted this.
Yeah.
This is what I described. Okay. So that's the funniest thing is like usually when I'm telling people this story, I'll reveal this after I show the work this girl did. But I mean, I can pull this up right now. I'm telling you, the guy that we eventually hired, my problem is she had 9 reviews. That's my fault. We found a guy that had 2,600. We paid a little more, but we got this. This is quality. So here's what we got from the first batch, which I don't know. I mean, that is a field hockey stick. That is not. I don't know what this is at the bottom. I really don't know. If you're just listening to this, just picture clip art, but worse.
A generic triangle shield.
Very generic.
With Times New Roman HS.
So I was pretty excited to show you what the logos were going to look like. Yeah. And I was so disappointed. I can't believe that this is that bad. And I remember telling you that, and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible.
I'm like, okay, so where's the actual logo?
Right.
Like,
so you have unlimited revisions with the package that I got. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to find a nice way of saying, I don't like it. Can you do this again? So I said something to the effect of, we're going to go a little bit of a different way. And I went a little more descriptive because the first time I said whatever colors, whatever, like I left it open, but because it was not even anything close to what we were envisioning, I was like, whoa, I got to be more specific. But it still, in essence, was the same thing I had said the first time. I just reiterated, here's actually what we want.
Yeah, and the second
which is
time
this is what we wanted.
The second time you did it too, right? You sent like, hey, we want some sort of like scratch mark through it. You sent her.
Yes. I made it very simple. This is like boom, boom, boom. Here's what we want. Okay. So I even said like the Raptors logo with the claw mark through the basketball, right? Because like Healthy Scratch, I want some fucking claw marks, something like that, right? And then I sent her a picture that I went on Google and I think I basically put bear claw logo or something, right?
Yes.
And this is what popped up. Okay. Now it's just claws coming through. It looks like it's like kind of going through metal, something like that. And I sent that as an example, something that looks like this. Okay.
I can't even.
It is pretty funny. Now, this is what she comes up with. Okay. Now does this look freaking familiar to you? Does that look familiar? That is the same damn logo. That's a copyrighted logo from Google. And also, okay, yes, also, let's read this very carefully, okay?
Emphasis on the last word there, scratch.
Let's read. There are 2 H's in scratch.
when on the time before, she had 1 H.
And she counted this, and there was also another one as different logos.
Oh, you only sent me the 2 there. I can only imagine what the third one.
Why would I say anything? It was just black. Yeah. It was just a black background. She changed the fucking color in the back. Like, what is that? So Brian sends me a way better logo right there. Healthy Scratch made on his iPhone. Looks very good. Abstract, I'd even say. And it was something that I was just going, wait a minute. I'm paying you $30, okay, to come up with a logo. Now, maybe it's something that's like, you know, you get what you pay for. And I honestly think that is a thing, especially with our logo now, is you
Yeah.
get what you pay for, because it was like $100. You know what I mean? It's like it's a good logo. The back and forth with this girl, I I can't, I don't know. It's weird because I think she was younger, but trying to make a quick buck, because I know exactly how she made that logo. And if the fact that I know how she made it is not good, because I've done this before. The logos that we just showed you,
Yeah.
that Brian showed, like they're made on Microsoft Paint with a font generator. So, like for example, the ones in the first one that I showed, it's font generator. You can find them online. You type in that healthy scratch, and it shits out some generic looking thing. She did it 3 times. It was 3 different things. And then she did it again with the other one, but then didn't change the font. She just did different colors slightly.
And
Because
add the copyrighted logo.
because who is going to give you art that they've done themselves with a misspelled name at the bot? Like, how are you, like, I'm going to draw that in. All you had to do was check the fucking information I gave you.
Which is exactly the same thing you sent to
You
this
did it
guy.
right you did it right the first time. You spelled it right. But now I know for a fact now that you're using a font generator. I can do that. Okay. Also, so I'm just going to go with the back and forth here, and I'm not going to go off the phone. I have the chat.
No, because when you got these, you're calling me on the phone. You're I can tell your face is red.
I wasn't happy.
I'm dying laughing because you're so heated.
And I mean, it was, and even now thinking about it makes me kind of mad, because I'm paying you for a service, and this is what you gave me. So I was nice. I'll say I was nice all the way up until a certain point, okay? Because I get the first round. I go, what the fuck is this? I say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go a slightly different direction with it, but not really, because I gave you the same. She tried to charge me $10 extra per logo.
Yeah.
What? There's unlimited revisions, lady. It's unlimited. It says it. So I'm not revising those logos. I'm revising that you do this again. You give me different, and I want quality, because on those on the banner that she has of her examples, they look pretty good. Yeah. So I said, no, here's what we want. She sends that. I see that it's misspelled. I see that she's used the example logo that I sent her of the claw slash, and she just turned it 90 degrees, shrunk it, and put it in there. And I went, oh my God, I can do this. This is so easy to do. I'm not paying you $30 for this. So I asked for a refund very nicely. I said, you know, this isn't the quality we're going to want. I want a refund. What came after shocked me. She started begging for my business, which is when I realized she had 9 reviews, and it's probably her mom, dad, brother, and boyfriend. And I'm like, oh my God, have I been bamboozled here? So
great.
Says, no, just give me another chance, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, sorry. I know I'm not going to get the quality that I want. We would like a refund. And then she came back and kept saying, like, kept wanting to try more.
Give me another chance.
I kept reiterating, we're not going to get the quality. Give me a refund. She sends me a message that now makes me laugh, but at the time pissed me off, because it was bullshit. She sends me, in basically what she says is, I've done so much effort to give you good quality logos. Okay.
Font generator. Yeah, she spent a whole 2 minutes on that.
Quality. That's quality to you. Okay. So whatever. Good quality logos.
She put a field hockey stick on the one.
There's a field hockey stick. I said ice hockey. I freaking said ice hockey. Now I'm getting mad again. So then, so I'm like, okay, good quality logos, good joke. She goes, okay, I send 3 in this package, 3 concept logos in this package. I've sent you 3 more. Okay. Okay. If you send me 3 pieces of cat shit, and then I ask for something different, and you send me 3 pieces of dog shit, it's 6 pieces of shit. Okay. How are you going to give me shit, and then spin me gold? It's not going to happen. So I'm talking about quality. It's not going to happen. right? So let's move on. And so then she said, oh, if you give me another chance, like I'll give you free business cards. Lady, you're not listening. We're a hockey blog website. We don't need business cards. You're not paying attention.
What am I
That was a
going to
big
use
thing
business
too,
cards
is
for?
attention to detail. There's none, right? So I was like, okay. I asked for a refund again. But, or actually, sorry, no. It was, she said all that, which triggered me. And I went, I've been nice up to this point. I'm going hardcore here.
Yeah.
And so I wrote her a book. And I said, listen.
Oh, are you? Oh, I thought you were
been,
reading word for word there for a second. I'm like, oh.
I mean, I can if you want me to.
If you want to get your blood boiling, go right ahead.
Nah, I don't know if I want to. I can paraphrase it. But I'll paraphrase it in saying, I said, listen, I've been trying to be very nice up to this point, but this is really starting to bother me. You saying that you're giving us quality logos is an absolute joke. Your work is nothing like what's in the examples that you have posted on your homepage. These logos are nothing that we can build upon at all. Like, to revise, basically, is what I'm saying. I can't just change that. This is nothing. You're not doing what we want. The attention to detail is not there. She didn't realize she spelt our name wrong. I said, you spelt the name wrong. You took a logo that I sent you off Google that is copyrighted and just put it in there. You're using a font generator that just shit out some font. I know you typed it in wrong and put that in there. I said, I can make logos like this on Microsoft Paint, which we just showed. Yes, I can do that. And I'd rather have the ones I made than the ones she made. And I said, I'm not paying you for that. I wanted an artist that is creative, that had some concepts that I couldn't imagine or that I can't make myself. And you're not giving that to us. Furthermore, I basically did the whole 3 pieces of dog shit, 3 pieces of cat shit thing. But I said, you giving us more logos that aren't what we're asking for doesn't mean anything to me. She was also asking, after the second time that she said, tell me specifically what you want. I'm like, I've told you twice. How? I said, go back and read it.
And that's where something as an artist too, you think we don't want to limit you to what you can or can't do.
I wanted to leave things open.
Should be a creative person.
Right.
Be able to come up with some sort of thing.
Yeah. So it was something where I straight up just said, you're not giving me the quality. And I said, these aren't even your logos. I don't think these are your logos you've made. And she canceled my order, got the refund. If she would have came back one more time, I was eating that $30. Believe me, man. I was eating that $30. Really? Oh yeah. I was going to say, you know what? The first ones you did, I'll take that one. Even though they're terrible, I'll take that one. And then here's what happens. On Fiverr, if you pay to get a logo made, money doesn't go right to the artist. It goes to the website. And it gets held. It gets held until I'm satisfied with the artist's work, and then it gets released to them. So it's kind of neat. We have some leverage, right? If we don't like what they're giving, we don't pay them, right? And if we have a legit reason to not pay them, like we do,
because it's not
we ask for a refund.
It's generated.
Yeah, it's not what you've said it is. So, but here's the thing: is now that it's canceled, I can't review, which I think. I understand why they do that, because I know they don't want people just going on and just like destroying someone. But at the same time,
why would you
I should be able.
Yeah,
if I've paid the website and I got refunded, I should be able to review why I got refunded.
Agreed.
If my experience was terrible, which it was, and Josh was like, I can't believe it was that bad. But then when I said it, she only had 9 reviews. He goes, oh yeah, and that's my fault. I'll own that. That's my fault. I should have looked. Lesson learned.
When you were looking though, you're looking, okay, 4.9 or 4.
I saw 4.9 and I saw the stuff at the top and I got fooled. Maybe, you know what? I was thinking maybe she was actually running like a promotion or something where she got bumped to the top of the site.
Yeah. Because
if you go and look on there, you don't see a lot of people for just logos that have only 9 or 10 reviews. They all have over 100. Now, the guy, I think his name was like Jeremy or something, Jerome or something, Jeremy, I don't forget what his name is, that did this, had 2,600 reviews and was a 4.9. Pretty big freaking difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and the only edit we did on this one was
the
tape on the blade.
Bam. Yeah. That's the only thing that wasn't there. Now, and even the logo behind me, and the thing too is I gave him the exact same instructions that I gave this other girl.
Yeah,
The
I remember
same.
you said, yeah.
And I don't know if that's like a panther or a mountain lion, or if anyone knows what that is, let me know.
The
I
only
think
other
it's
thing
sweet.
you told him too is because you looked at his previous work. We looked at his previous work as we saw two logos that we really liked: that Griffin one and that Wolverine one.
Right.
And we said,
But
hey, we like these as well. So
yeah, and the thing that's was cool about this guy's work is it was all very similar. The styles were similar, the font, and he actually told me, I didn't tell you this. He told me that like this font right here
yeah,
that's a paid font. He pays to use this.
huh.
So he can so this, to be really honest with you, it might be kind of a font generator where he can type it in, but he can change the colors. And this slash through here, through the scratch, that's not on any of his other logos.
No,
He made that specifically. So that was something that he modified,
yeah,
which is really cool. That was the coolest thing that I saw in it. I went, oh my God, that's kind of what I was looking for. Now, I did say I wanted this guy, the Panther or whatever this is, to maybe be like slashing across the screen. But I said, if you can incorporate hockey, go for it.
which
This turned out awesome. The fact that there isn't that, but like now you can see our other logos, not on this one, but there's actually like a powder blue big like slash mark through. I think it's like this way, Panther. I forget which way it is, but through it, which is really cool too. Because I honestly didn't ask for that. He put it in because he understood what the site was. He knew what he understood. I want slashes, scratches, whatever, right? But yeah, you're right. The only thing that I revised was the tape job on the top because there wasn't anything there. And I also asked because Josh said, hey, try to see if you can make you almost like a header logo for your website that's more horizontal, because our script logo, which is right here, our actual one has light blue slash marks through the back that make it actually like way taller than what it looks like, and it wouldn't fit on the website. So I asked him, and the thing is, he didn't charge me more. He was like, yeah, sure. And I didn't ask actually for this exact logo that's behind me. This is how it turned out. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I actually asked for, Brian, is I asked for him to take, I keep pointing the wrong spot. I asked him to take healthy and scratch and put it next to each other instead of stacked.
But the way that he did this, or the way this,
I think he said, you know what would look better? Yeah, you know what would look better is take the logo and have it, instead of like this, put it like this. So it's more horizontal.
It looks great.
Perfect, dude. Love it.
All you had to do is like probably just shrink the logo a little bit.
Yeah,
and
exactly. So
the Panthers pack. So
dude, packing heat. This guy. I told him I didn't tell him that. Don't change it. Don't change it. It's fine. But yeah. So that was kind of the whole logo story. So
you're telling me, when we look at logos here, would you rather this
or that?
or that?
I really want to be like, not to be mean, but to like message that girl and go, this is actually what we wanted. You know what I mean? And it might be someone that I don't know if she's genuine or not. I feel like she's not, because she raised her prices too. After, yeah. So I think she's trying to make a quick buck, and just honestly preying on people that don't really know what they're looking for, and go, oh, this is good enough, $30, boom. It's like, well, you can do that. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So that was kind of the logo thing, but yeah. So that
2021.
Yeah. So, but that's honestly really like the history that we have with doing a website. This is the first kind of podcast I think we've done, other than that WDAR, Windsor radio. Detroit Internet Radio. Like that, this is the only thing. So like, we've tried different things, and like we've had some fun with it. And like honestly, like doing this has been already pretty fun. So
yeah, I've had some fun. I've had a lot of fun with this. I think it's something that we're going to continue to.
And again,
have some fun with it.
Yeah, and again, it's something that we're not expecting anybody to listen to it. We're not expecting people to watch stuff or read anything. If you do, awesome, and we're like, thank you. But we're not expecting it. I think maybe, I don't know if we did last time or whatever, but it's something we definitely both enjoy doing. It's something that we can do together, and like, I don't know, it's a hobby, man, and it's fun. So like,
Yeah.
fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah,
You know?
we're having fun with it. We're the nice thing, like I said, about this time going about it is we just got to create some. We're just creating content. Whereas
Right.
before, it seemed like we had to do a few other things.
Yeah.
When we were writing checking line, you had to manage and
Yeah. And that's the thing. Again, I know we talked about at the beginning, but if this ever became something where it became a job, or it became something where it wasn't enjoyable, I wouldn't want to do it, and I don't think you would either.
No. That's when we
So
have to have a sit down and
yeah,
see.
I would say to you, if it ever becomes that to you, if I start pushing or something, tell me, man, and be like, hey, dude, chill. Yeah, like,
a bit of a knob.
well, I hope I'm not a knob, but if I'm kind of pushing it too much, and you're like, hey, remember what this is about.
Yeah,
Tell me, man, like that.
Fun with this.
Yeah. If it becomes something down the line, awesome, great. But I think the way that you maybe you get there is just kind of just chilling.
Yeah, and that's all.
Just having some fun. I'm not too worried about that.
Fun. We're just talking some hockey. We're talking sports.
And sometimes we might not even be talking hockey. Who the hell knows, man? We go off on tangents all the time, right?
Absolutely. We'll go from hockey, and the next thing you know, we're balls deep in a squealing hog or something like that. So,
but like,
I don't know.
So yeah, we have some things planned. Just fun things, honestly. I don't think anything is really like super serious, but if
anyone does watch this like on YouTube, like we're posting it and whatnot, and wants to comment something or future topics or whatever, we're definitely down for that too.
And a cool thing that we eventually will do too is like, we're gonna probably have a few people, just our buddies, like come on, do a little 15-minute thing, talk about, we got buddies that like different teams all over the league. So like, it'd be kind of fun to have a few guys on and be like, hey, like, what do you think about the Canadians? Like, you hate Claude Julien, like, I don't know, like, have some people on, talk about it. I know me and you are more, I'm going to post a lot of Red Wing stuff. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm not going to be talking about the Minnesota Wild, because I don't give a shit. And that's part of it. You gotta write what you want to do.
Yeah.
And another thing too is nothing's going to be scheduled.
That's the nice thing about this. We're going at it as we want.
We're gonna do a podcast here. If we really love doing it right at the beginning, we might do a ton. We might not. Like, who knows? It's gonna be something where if I'm in and you're in, let's do it. Like, articles, write whenever you want. Like, there's nothing. We're not gonna have one a day. I mean, I'm not gonna be doing that.
For podcast too, we're not just gonna. If we're both available to do something, we're not just gonna put one out just if there's nothing to talk about, or if we don't have.
Right. We want to have a few talking points.
We want it to be genuine too, right? Like, we don't really, a couple of talking points and then
so
we don't script it out or try to force anything. So
because then it's not legit, it's not genuine. So like, if we have a bunch of stuff we want to talk about, we'll hop on, we'll do one. It might be 20 minutes, it might be an hour and a half. I don't know how long we've been talking for this one, but
I don't know.
I was gonna say it's
like
probably
5 minutes.
It's probably about time, but
give or take.
Yeah. So if anyone is listening or watching, we do appreciate it. But me and Brian on Monday, when we're listening to it on the way to work, hey guys, how's it going? So we do have a bunch of social media sites you can follow. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter for some reason at Healthy Scratch 6. They just gave us 6. I don't know. We're on TikTok, where we're going to be posting some maybe podcast clips, stuff like that. We ain't going to be doing any dances though.
You won't be. I might be.
And am I missing one? We're on YouTube too. We're on YouTube
gonna be
as well.
Doing gonna get an Instagram
too.
The best way to get it though is to go to healthyscratch.ca.
Healthyscratch.ca, not the healthyscratch.ca anymore. It's healthyscratch.ca.
Healthyscratch.ca.
And
some fun stuff coming down the line there.
I think that's it. Hey, episode 1 in the books.
Episode 1 in the books. There we go.
Episode 1 of Who the Hell Knows.
Buschy and Bobo. Let's go.
Healthyscratch.ca.
High five.
Peace.